Alright lads, how is doing? Just quick reaction to the game that's just finished there from Dangenmount Park. It finished Bowes 1, Derry 2. Really disappointing result and a really disappointing performance. We actually went 1-0 up in the first half through with Georgie Kelly penalty, which was deserved at that point, but after that, for the rest of the first half, we were shocking. You know, Derry got a hold of the ball, Derry controlled the game, created better chances. At half time, probably deserved something, and we were quite lucky to still have our 1-0 lead intact at half time. And then the second half, we started the brighter with Keith Ward had a chance that just lacked, like the team performance, and lacked conviction and lacked tempo, which Gartso saved fairly handy in the end. And the 63rd minute, Derry got what they deserved. They got a set piece and McJanna headed home from a Fitzgerald cross, which at that point was much deserved. I think 1-1 at that point was fair enough. And at that point, you're sort of expecting Bowes to make changes and try to hold on to the ball a bit more and try to create something, which didn't come until 15 minutes later with Dawson Devoy coming on. And at that point, he did have a bit of an impact in the game. And we created a couple of more chances, but again, no clear-cut chances. The game could have gone either way. Unfortunately for us, Derry had a free kick, right-hand side, Fitzgerald into the box. McJanna puts home in 3 yards of space. Awful defending. I don't know if it was Kieran Kelly, and I don't know if it was Rob Cornwall, but one of them anyway should have been marking him. He puts it away and it's 2-1. And at that point it's too late for us to salvage out from the game. Overall, as a whole, really disappointing. As I said, I think we're missing Basham Hurry and Stephen Mangan. But yeah, going into Drogheda now on Monday, it's going to be tough. You know, haven't got a home win so far in phase 1, which is Drogheda's away on Monday, so that'll mean that we haven't won in Dagenham Park for the first phase of the season. So, like, you know, just really bad start. Sooner the better we have Basham Hurry and Stephen Mangan back, and, you know, the sooner the better come summer, and we can hopefully make a couple of signings. But yeah, that's also just summarise. Really poor performance. And I thought Kieran Harkin for Derry had a really good game in the middle of the park. Yes, that's it. Thanks.
Right, lads, what's happening? Oh, where do I start with this game? What a result. What a result. Absolute buzzing with that. I would have been, before the match, I would have been happy enough probably with a draw. So it is, considering with Higgins, first 2 games, away matches, winning away to Sligo last week, and if we had got a point away to Bowes for the start of the game, I thought it would have been great. Further into the match, especially at second half, I thought, no, after how we were playing, I would have been disappointed then with the draw, but no, absolute buzzing with a win. I thought Kieran Harkin and Akintunde played unbelievable. Walsh thought he was amazing as well when he came on, really impacted the game. But those set pieces, Cameron McJannet, what a player. I've been loving him since he came, and this year I'm loving the fact that we're getting goals from set pieces, because I've always been saying over the past number of years we've been terrible, like scoring and defending from set pieces. And to be fair, I don't really care that we haven't scored many goals yet from open play, but I've been loving the set pieces, and Patchen played really well tonight, and the fact of just overall getting that one tonight, what a comeback. So it is. On and upwards, looking forward to Harps Monday, and never know, considering by Monday we can be in 4th place, buzzing. Come on, Derry!
Full time, Dundalk 3, Watford 0. To be honest, I don't really have much to say about the performance. I'd love to be able to talk about it, but well, I wouldn't really. It's fairly tacit stuff, but to be honest, I can't blame the players. And that's one thing I will say that is good about it, that I can't blame the players, because they put in effort. They created chances in the first half. They were crying out for some leadership in that first half, and in the second half as well. What would have been nice in the second half was if they had more than 2 outfield subs on the bench, 2 of whom are defenders. right? So we didn't have anything going forward in an attack if things weren't working out, or if players got tired or injured or whatever. It's totally unacceptable for a Premier Division club for that to happen. And the other thing, leadership. Brian Murphy's at this club. Darren Murphy's at this club. Where are they? Kevin Sheedy on the bench is like a fucking mouse. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't provide them any leadership. Mike Newell has been suspended in 2 games from 2. There's no leadership in this team. There's a young squad out there that would be fucking brilliant if they had some leadership out there on the field, because they're a talented group of hard-working young lads, and they're being asked to go out there and they're basically like lambs to the slaughter, right? I don't know what else I can say about this club. I can't think of a Premier Division club that's been that it's this badly run. Bray in 2018 weren't this bad, right? Limerick were the last club I can remember that were this badly run, but they were in the first division, and what happened then was they went bust. That's what's going to happen to us. That is what I fucking hope it does, because if the club is this badly run, Lee Power is supposedly taking a keen interest in us this season. Christ, I hate to think what it'd be like if he wasn't taking an interest in us this season. How bad would we be then? Like, it's not good enough. I'd nearly rather there wasn't, like, because supporting a Frankenstein's monster of a club where we don't know what's going on, the communication is so poor. There's such a hostile atmosphere that's been generated between the club and the fans. It's ridiculous. It's like a circus. Like, it's... I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. I'm glad we were beaten tonight, because we didn't deserve to win given the way the club was run. It's harsh to say for the players because they put in a lot. We were missing players tonight. Even like players we actually were missing, Oscar Brennan and Kyle Ferguson, players who actually had an excuse to be missing, as opposed to players simply not being listed because maybe they fell out with the assistant manager, right? And it is the assistant manager, right? Let's say this, right? I'll say this much, right? He has to go. And I'd normally never be an advocate for getting rid of a manager this early into the season, right? Because it's only 8 games in. And we're looking at an assistant manager who gets into fights with his most experienced player, a player that other teams in the league would kill to have on their squad. And he's getting into fights with everybody on the training ground, storming off. And Sheedy, as far as I'm concerned, Sheedy needs to stand up to him. If Sheedy doesn't take him aside and tell him that he's way out of order when he's getting into all these fights, then he's equally as complicit in this, and he has to go as well, right? It's totally fucking unacceptable that this is the way a League of Ireland club should be run, a Premier Division club being run like a circus, right? The people behind the club need to be held accountable. We don't even know who's pulling the strings. It's like a covert Black Ops operation in the Cold War or something. You swear that's what it was like, the level of secrecy and no communication whatsoever coming out of the club. As a fan, I don't know how much longer I can keep supporting this. We're going to Rovers on Monday. I'm praying to God that we don't get absolutely blown off the face of the earth. That's all I have to say.
Alright guys, just after watching the Dundalk-Waterford game there, 3-0 to Dundalk. Brilliant game. Dundalk very good going forward. Again, very weak at the back, I thought. Should have been punished. I think Waterford hit the post 2-3 times. But yeah, we finally got our clean sheet, so that's a very good plus. But going forward, I thought Dundalk were fantastic tonight. First of all, I just want to say, I hope that David McMillan and Cameron Dunnigan are okay soon. I don't know really what happened. Watch out, it wasn't great for me tonight, but didn't see them, but I seen the goals. Thankfully I saw the goals. First goal, very good set piece. I thought we were dangerous from like set pieces tonight, and Andy Boyle done very well to get the head in the first one. Second one, yeah, very good penalty, very good to get the penalty. Junior done very well to put himself in front of the defender. That's what you want, make the defender make a mistake. That's what he's done. 2-0. Chris Shields made no mistake from the spot. And then, oh my God, can we talk about that third goal? What a goal that was. That was Michael Duffy at his absolute best. He said in an interview recently enough that he needs to take more shots from outside the box, or just more shots in general. That's what he done. He took it in, got it on his right foot, and just curled it so sweetly into the far corner. Unbelievable. I've watched it about 4 or 5 times now already. It's up on the Dundalk FC Twitter page or Instagram. Go look at it if you haven't seen it. It's a fantastic goal. Really is a great goal. And even the build of play to that was really well worked. The Dundalk were very well. I think all going forward, Dundalk were very good. Michael Duffy for me was man of the match, not just for the goal, but I did think he put them under a lot of pressure. So did Cameron Donegan. He done very well up until he got injured, obviously. And Zabino done very well again today. Him and Chris Shields are very good. I think a lot of what Dundalk done today and what they done well today was they didn't try to force anything. Everything was nice and basic, nice and simple, good hard passes into the feet, into the man, just kept everything very basic. But the basics work. The basics work a lot of the time. And I think that's what helped us there. We needed just to give up on the fancy tricks. Yeah, they're lovely when they come off, but it's better just get the ball into the feet, ball into the man, and go from there. And it just worked. It worked again tonight. We did it in the first half against Drogheda, and we did it pretty much the whole game today, and it just worked for us a treat. Now, I know we got lucky with Waterford hitting the post and the crossbar, and Cherry pulled off a couple of saves, and the missed chances should have scored. But that's football. Like, we took our chances, they didn't take them as well. I said it earlier on in another video with Keith at the start of the year that going forward Dundalk are going to outscore teams, and I said that you look at the attack force Dundalk have, it's probably the best in the league. I think they're starting to show now that they are good. Like, they are better than where we are in the league. We do deserve to be where we are, but we will be pressing forward. Just have to work out in that defence a wee bit. But other than that, we scored 3 goals tonight. Our first choice striker, Patrick Oban, not even on the bench, is injured. Han, one of the better players from the game against Drogheda, wasn't even on the bench, getting injured. David McMillan went off injured. So we still managed to score 3 goals. And yeah, very, very good. No recognised striker actually scored any of the goals. The defender and 2 midfielders scored, which is very good. We really need things like that to happen. And now just move on to Monday night, and hopefully now pick up another 3 points, and it'll be a very good weekend for Dundalk. So really looking forward to the game in Longford. Thanks very much.
So just after watching Drogheda v Sligo Rovers there, it's disappointing not to get the win, but I think a draw is a fair result overall. Really wanted to get the win after the Derry game last week. I mean, the only highlight of that game was Endo on the commentary. He was very, very poor performance, and I was hoping we can make it right today. I thought our performance was a bit better, but I think Drogheda overall made us work for the point, and rightly so. I think they're a good side. Phillips for them was a standout in my opinion, very, very good, arguably man of the match. I think they did deserve to go 1-0 up because they grew into the game a lot, and they were testing our keeper as well, McGinty. And listen, McGinty comes off his line for a free kick, misses the ball, and Drogheda able to head it home for 1-0. And deserved in my opinion. I thought they played very, very well. They surprised me a wee bit how good they actually were. And then after kind of the goal, we were quite nervy at the back with Buckley and Madden, making a few mistakes. McGinty also quite nervy after his mistake. But we did grow into the game. Johnny Kenny, he gets our equaliser 1-1. 17 years old, scoring goals in a senior league is absolutely fantastic. He's a great player. He's a bright future ahead of him. To take the ball into him, take it past the defender and the goalkeeper and hit it home, it's just fantastic. And hopefully he's going to be continued doing that during the season, because he deserves to start most games now, because he's offering us a lot. Second half, end to end, really very, very good game of football, especially in the second half. Both teams pushing on, trying to get the win, and that's what you really like to see. Both teams not settling for a point, and I really like that. Drogheda, to be fair to them, deserved to get a point from the game. Arguably, Drogheda fans might be thinking they might deserve to actually get the win from the game, because they did really, really test us. I thought we did enough to get the point. Disappointing not to get the win. We had our chances with Parks, Gibson, and Kenny as well, and Figueira also having a good few chances. I thought he played quite well, along with Shane Blaney in the midfield. Coming in for Morton, who was injured. Even like I said, centre midfield is not his natural position. I thought he played very well alongside Bulger. Overall, I think a draw is a fair result. It's just disappointing not to get the win now, because we have 2 difficult games in Pats and Dundalk ahead of us. And it would be nice to get a win going into these 2 games. But listen, Drogheda, it's never going to be an easy game, especially away from home. And to be fair to them, I think they're going to be causing a lot of teams trouble this season. They're a fantastic team. Like I said, Phillips is absolutely fantastic and arguably man of the match. But overall, listen, I think a draw is a fair result. We just look forward now to Pats next week.
Hi guys, a 3-0 win for the Saints at home to Longford Town. I'm very happy with the win considering we probably didn't play as well as we have been over the last couple of weeks. But to win any game 3-0 when you're probably not getting out of second gear for the whole game, it's great. It's a sign of a team with a lot of character, grit and determination, which is kind of what O'Donnell has instilled in the team since he got there. I'm happy with Chris Forrester. I don't know how anyone couldn't be. He was head and shoulders again above everyone on that pitch. And the goal, his first goal, like, how many players can pull off that technique? He's just a different gravy. He's brilliant. He's back to his best again. To get the third goal and his second, I was chuffed from because it'll do his confidence the world of good. Especially with Coughlin getting a goal too. I think that's what we need. Players are flying with confidence. You can see it. They like being on the ball. They're comfortable with it. I think the work rate again from players like Matty Smith, etc. Paddy Barrett as well was just second to none. You can't ask any more of the players. As in terms of Longford Town, like, they're not a bad side. They created, especially in the second half, a lot of chances. A lot of balls into the box. They kind of threw the kitchen sink at us at one stage. But I think our defence was excellent at dealing with it. I just don't think Longford lacked that bit of quality up front. But they have young, youthful players who will get them over the line. I think they'll be okay at the end of the season. Like, I think they were head and shoulders above Waterford, because I don't think Waterford created one chance against us, whereas Longford had a few. But I'm happy that Pats can win so comfortably while probably not getting out of second gear and not playing as well as we have been. Going to Sligo, I think we can win it. It's going to be a battle. Sligo are a very good team. They're under Liam Buckley. Any Liam Buckley team always plays excellent. They've players there that will cause you hassle, but I think if we play like we have been, there's no reason we can't beat them. And that their confidence is going to be a bit down, considering that they lost to Derry and they dropped points with a draw, away to draw this night. And then the big one against Rovers, I think again, if we play like that, I don't see a reason we can't beat them. Like, it took Rovers till the 92nd minute or something to beat Longford a couple of weeks ago, and Longford were able to hold out for that, so hopefully we can get a result. Right, thanks guys, all the best.
Just finished watching City and Bray there, Keith. Look positive, a point was the most important thing. Good to see a couple of changes made in the team tonight. So that for a start, anyway, which was great. At least they didn't stick to the same 11, made a couple of changes. Great to see Jack Walsh back in the team again. Again, just, he gives 110%. And worked very hard in the first half, and in the second half, City were kind of defending. They were defending quite deep in the first half, and we were trying to catch Bray in the counter. And I was saying that I was looking there, kind of about 10 minutes left in the first half, and I noticed that City, when Bray were attacking, all of City's team were kind of in their own half, and I was saying they're going to have to push up in the second half, otherwise they're just inviting trouble onto themselves. So they made a kind of a change. They went to 4-3-3 in the second half, and they went at Bray a bit more, and there was nothing really in it in terms of the game. Nobody deserved to win, nobody deserved to lose. And then we got our bit of stroke of luck that we needed in literally the last kick of the game, when the Bray player was through, and he hit a pass McNulty, and it was hard to tell from the camera who cleared the ball off the line, but literally when the ball was cleared off the line, the game was over. So look, hopefully it's a start, it's a point, and unfortunately I was nearly expecting a loss out of tonight. So it was a good point up there. Nothing really else much to say. There wasn't really much in the game after that. Just good to see a couple of changes made and a bit of fight there. And look, hopefully onwards and upwards from that, but we'll take one game as it comes, and we need to get on a run basically, but a point is a start, and that's good to see.
Hey guys, the morning after the night before, finished at the Carlisle, Bray Wanderers 0, Cork City 0, which was Bray's third goalless draw of the season. Bray started the game really well, took the game to their opponents. Couple of chances that really need to be taken in order to get wins on board. Brandon Kavanagh had an effort midway through the first half that was blocked down by his own player. Aaron Barry had a header from about 4 yards out, which he really should have scored. He almost glanced it too well, and it drifted wide of Mark McNulty's post, and Joe Doyle went clear, jockeyed by a defender, but his tame left foot shot nestled into the hands of Mark McNulty. The second half started much the same as the first. Spray dominated in small parts, in and around couple of minute spells here and there, but you just couldn't find the breakthrough. It actually surprised me, not how poor Cork were, but how poor they have gone. Obviously we're used to a Cork City team being up the top of the Premier Division, but to see Mark McNulty, and I had a joke with him after about 30 minutes. I was standing behind the goal, and he was clearly holding onto the ball at goal kicks for a lot longer than normally would, and you could see from that Cork City came to the Carlisle looking for a point, and they got that point in the end, which is probably a good result for them. In terms of Bray, we had 6 players that probably would have played last night out injured or suspended. Darren Craven, Darrell Lynch, Dylan Burnett, Ryan Graydon, Sean Callan were all injured. Gary Shaw, still carrying an injury that he picked up against Shelbourne, was only on the bench. However, he did come on after 59, 60 minutes. And would you believe he nearly won the game for us with literally the last kick of the ball. He nestled a cushioned header over the defence, over the Cork defence, and side-footed it was left foot, and it was heading into the goal only for last ditch clearance from Cork City defender. I didn't quite catch his name, but it was cleared for a corner. But before the corner was taken, the referee blew the whistle. The positives for Bray, Dean O'Shea was fantastic on the left side for Bray Wanderers, only a kid, and again it was a clean sheet. But I think when we have a full strength team back, our problems will ease a little bit. We'll start clicking. Look, 5 points on the board after 6 games is not where we want to be, but we've been terrible and lucky with injuries, and I'm hoping when those players do come back, they start to click, and we get positive results on the board. So up to Galway next week, another tough game, doesn't get any easier, but we'll see what happens. So finished at the Carlisle once again. Bray Wanderers 0, Cork City 0.
Alright everybody, Keith asked me to give me a reaction to the game that's just finished there 2-0 tonight between Rovers and Finn Harps up in Ballybuffet. I thought Rovers weren't great on the night. I thought we didn't really get going till about 60 minutes in. I thought Harps played alright on the night, as did Rovers towards the end. I thought it was a very game. It was a game that both sides were battling, and it was a game that both sides were going for, which I do respect. I thought that Rob Hennessy on the night was shocking for both sides. I think some decisions he made were baffling, especially the penalty decision the first few minutes. Now I know people will say that it'll balance out for what happened last week between Mandrew and Finati in the box, but for me, that decision, I've seen it given before, and I think that was a penalty. Say what you want about last week. If you don't think it was a penalty, you don't think it was a penalty. If you do, you do. But this week, I think that was a Stonewall penalty. The goal scorers for us on the night were Sean Haw in the 80th minute and Rory Gaffney in the 72nd minute. 2 redheads with the goals. Gaffney's came from a free kick just before or just after the halfway line, and Watts whipped it in with an inch perfect cross. McGinley dropped it straight onto Gaffney's foot, and Gaffney slots it in from close range. And in the 80th minute, Ollie Horgan just been sent off for abusing the linesman, I think it was, or that was the reason they were given on the Watch LOY. But it might have put the Finn Harps defence off because Sean Hoare capitalised on it and headed home from about 6 yards out into the top corner. A good performance from 60 minutes on from Rovers. I thought that we rested a few players because of the game Monday against Waterford, but I also noticed a good few players out, and then tonight as well, with Borky going off injured because he has a nice pack around his whole leg. I'd say he'll be out for at least a week or so. But I just think that's been happening the past few games, that a lot of our players being took out. Like you had Cavo in the draw of the game. You had a few players last week that got picked up knocks, and now you have Borky tonight. Like, it's just a recurring theme that players keep on getting injured for us. Like, we should have had 9 on the bench tonight. We only had 7 because of our injuries. But I do think what I love about this side, and it is the truth, that even though we're playing at sometimes melodic football, we're still getting results. And if this was the Rovers side of 2018 or 2017, we wouldn't be winning up in Ballybuffet tonight because of the way we started off the game. But this year it just seems like it has to take us to get a kick up the arse for it to finally kick into place, that right, we're the side who went unbeaten last year and we should be playing better than this, and we do, because it's the sign of champions by getting late goals. Also tonight, Rovers equalled the league record for unbeaten games in the league, which is 30. So I'm astonished by that, because I thought genuinely over the time, even at the start of this year, I thought we might lose one at the start of the season, but now it just shows the class that's in the side. As much as I say we do play melodic at some points, the class that's in the side really shows when you go 30 games unbeaten in the league. Like the last time we lost was Dundalk at home in 2019, where Sean Gannon got the winner for them. But all in all, a great game between two sides. At some points, melodic football played by both sides, but in the end my team got the win, so I'm happy. On to Waterford on Monday, and hopefully another 3 points and to break the record.
Final score for St.Patrick: Shamrock Rovers 2, Finn Harps 0. Goal scored by Rory Gaffney and Sean Hoare. Not much in the game. First half was very little to write home about. Not many chances. Thought overall it was Pellerin to be like a 0-0 draw until we gave away 2 mistakes in the second half. Few bright performances in Harps team today. Mark Hoyle was very busy, played well. I thought our defence played well up until the mistakes we conceded. Barry McNamee had a good game. Big, massive game, 6-pointer now coming up against Derry City on Monday night. Derry under the new management setup of Rory Higgins and Ralph Cotero, 2 games, 2 wins in. But hopefully we'll bring it back down to earth. Ollie Harden got a red card for didn't know what it was for, but the referee was very generous to give the red card to Ollie. Just wanted to show who's the boss on the day, I suppose. But all I can say is, a lot of big games coming up now in the next 2 games. Harps play Derry away and Bowls away. Massive 2 games coming up the Harps.